The Divine Walk.
Welcome back again, guys. Today's topic is heavy tip for the Christian fathers. If you're a father, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your father. So, father, it is important that we consider ourselves role models for your children. This is not something you can take lightly, right? It always bothers me when a public figure say that they are not a role model and should not be looked up to how to live. But over by virtue of being in a public figure, they are a role model. And people will look up to them for leadership, right? And they may or may not be good or be a good one, but people are going to follow their leads. And the same is true with the father for their children, and they will always look to them as an example of how they live. Saying, do as I say and not as I do, will not change the fact that you have a young eyes watching every move you make. Number one, love your wife. Love the mother of your children. It is important to be a good dad. Children derive security or stability from knowing that their parents are unified and love one another. Your children should see you doing special things for your wife. This is a good example for them and how they should treat the future spouse as well. And it also gives them a chance to see a good relationship. And with TV, music and movie today, your children are being taught that there are many terrible relationships in this world. So you are the one to show them how good relationship be going. Your family does not need to be one of those terrible relationship that going on in the TV or music or a movie. Am I right? Number two, be a role model. As I mentioned in the introduction, I realize that you are a role model to your children. You should conscientious and gladly perform your tasks. Your children will copy what they see you doing, not just what you think are doing, right? And smile, use a good manners, use respect to others at all time. Your children live with you and see every time, all the time. Your children live with you and see what you are doing every day. And that also means they see you when you mess up and admit your mistake and use them as a teaching opportunity. So be a role model to your children. You have good role model out there, so be a good role model. Number three, respect your children. Ephesians 6 verse 1 is my favorite verse of parents. It says that children should obey their parents, right? As a father, we like that, And the next verse say that they should honor and respect their parents. But this chapter is getting better and better by the verse. Verse 4 said, then talk to the father. It said to not provoke them to wrath. And this means that you should not be a badger them. Or in other words, you should respect your children the same way they are supposed to give them rules to obey and expect them to comply, right? And when this is done without yelling or screaming, then your kids know their limits and can easily live within a confine of those rules. Am I right? And you may be thinking that the children hates rules and won't obey. Turn that around and think how frustrated and provoked you are when you are not sure what expected of you at work. Each day, your boss change the rule and our expectation has become a minefield just to step in the office, right? And without being much better to have written policy that everyone knew and that were enforced. And think of how much less frustration there would be for you and your children if they knew that what was expected of them. This put a structure in a place that you can respect one another. But what respected is destroyed. Yeah, but that respect is destroyed when you are not considerate with the rule you have agreed upon. So respect your children. Number 4, talk with your children. Depend on the age of your children, it may or may not be easy with them, right? Or at certain age, they want everything with you. They share everything with you. During those time, you need to be a good listener. They will help them. This will help them know you are caring for them and the things going on in their lives, right? And when the time come when they are less likely to share with you, they remember that you took the time to listen when their conversation were petty and immature. As your children get older, try to find interest in the things they are interested in, right? And this will give you a common ground for conversation. They will be rough ear when you feel like they are not talking as much you want them to talk, but make sure they have the attention when they do talk. It will be open up and it will open up more opportunity in the future when you have good conversation. Next, take your children to church. One of the best way to find a common ground with your children is to share your faith with them. This should grow up knowing that you love the Lord. There are endless number of conversation topics. If you both have the love for God's word, don't expect the church to do all the work in this love. Going to church together is great step in building that love for God and giving you a common belief. Next, realize that each child is different. Understand that each child you have is different, different personality, different interests. Don't try to treat them all the same. If one child is strong willing, then take the time to mold them into someone who will stand strong for the right things, right? Help them to see their needs to be more gracious with others who don't see the world the same as they do. You may find your next child is complaining and want to please everyone. Help develop their sensitivity to the needs of others in a good way. But however, they also need to learn to stand up for themselves for what is right. You cannot expect that the teaching you give to one child will work or be effective for all the other child you have. Treat each child as an individual unique. You can raise godly children with who honor the Lord. And the seventh tip is let your children be children. So let your children be children. Be patient with your young one. They don't have the physical or mental maturity that you do. Allow them to be kids and make mistakes. That does not mean you should never push them to do their best or also realize the best may be far less than what you expected them to be. But one way that parents can frustrate their children and provoke them to wrath is to set an unrealistic expectation for them. So let your children be children. There are many things that you could have said to be a good Christian father or Christian dad. There are what came to mind for me and what come to your mind. So what come to your mind, by the way? Share them in the comment section below. And I took forward of reading them and learning how others can be a better father for their children. So thanks for watching this video and we will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.